Showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Okay, people, it's showtime!
All right, everybody, it's showtime.
All right, everybody, it's showtime!
Now take your position. It's showtime.
Hey, heads up, everybody! It's showtime!
Oh, it's time!
All right, ladies, buckle up. It's showtime.
Here we go. Showtime.
Okay, fellas. Showtime. Okay, it's showtime!
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports!
Greetings, true believers. Welcome back into the fastest show in sports. I am your host and your ringmaster, Ed Berliner. Thank you so much for joining us. We are sponsored today by Dewey, Cheatham, and Prey, attorneys at law.
Did you fall for another rapture prediction? Did you quit your job, sell your stuff, or spend your savings only to wake up still on earth? At the law offices of Dewey, Cheatham, and Prey, we'll help you sue God for emotional distress, wasted food, and lost wages. When God knows shows, we show up. Call 1-800-NOTRAPT. That's 1-800-NOTRAPT. Judgment Day may never come, but Justice Day starts today.
As usual, we got a long way to go and a short time to get there, so let's go ahead and get started with our lead story. America finally stands united when it comes to one single sporting event that managed to bring us all together, managed to put us all on the same page, managed to make us all think about America first.
What are your thoughts on the Ryder Cup so far?
As an American, it's a bit embarrassing to be losing at golf to a small country like Europe, especially when we invented the sport.
Are you disappointed to be losing to Europe?
We're world champions at football, world champions at baseball, and world champions at basketball. We can't win everything.
Who's your favorite golfer?
Happy Gilmore. I'm a bit disappointed he's not playing today, to be honest.
Members of Team Europe have been complaining about the American fans making too much noise. What do you think about that? If British soccer fans can call the goaltender a fat bastard every time he kicks the ball, surely it's okay for me to call a European golfer an asshole every time they swing their club.
Never before in the history of my career have I ever let off a show, well, a talk show that is, speaking about the Ryder Cup when I used to do sportscasts for News Sport, for all the other Sports News Network and so many others. We sometimes led with golf, especially when it was the Masters and the U.S. Open. Rarely did we ever lead with the Ryder Cup because the Ryder Cup was okay, it was nice. Okay, we get together with the Europeans and we play. Look, I come from a time when the Ryder Cup was no big deal. As a matter of fact, you couldn't scalp tickets. You didn't even think about that. There were tickets to be had on the day. You walked up, you grabbed a ticket for maybe $10, $12, and you were there. It wasn't that big a deal. Now, all of a sudden, the Ryder Cup has become an international incident. What happened this past weekend at the Ryder Cup makes us all stop and think, especially when you consider that rarely do you ever see an athlete as bothered as Rory McIlroy.
Bones, it just seems there's as much pulling for the U.S. and pushing against the Europeans here, especially in this group against Rory.
Yeah, it's been incredibly vocal out here this afternoon, I have to say. But I think that everyone's handled it really well. The problem is that as they walk around the green, the crowd has been shouting out time, if you will, counting from 1 to 10 and then on from there. And I think Rory's looking at the referee now, just asking people to settle down.
Yeah, after a while, Paul, it can kind of get on your nerves.
Yeah, his character building though for Rory, as I say, he's normally man of the people, and now he's seeing the flip side. And I think in the big context of his career, having this experience in years to come, he'll look back on it as being a good experience. And as much as it's not fun and it's somewhat uncomfortable at the moment, he's reacted very well over the last few days with it.
This guy handled pretty much everything that came his way.
This what
Home
they know.
or away.
That's the point, Dan. When Michael Jordan played in Madison Square Garden, do you think he didn't get stick? They always target the best player.
Jordan said he got even more fired up for the away games, especially at the Garden, just about 30 miles away from here.
Yeah, it's getting a little out of hand out here right now.
Well, There's one thing giving stick in between shots, and I think Rory be the first to say that. We see his dad there in the background.
Yeah, Jerry, his dad. You can see him just over there on one knee.
It's another thing giving stick while he's addressing the ball and trying to affect his execution of the shot.
I like it. All of a sudden now we're talking about giving stick, not being a raging asshole in the stands. This is what happens when you have international competition now, and you have one side that is entitled, and that, of course, is probably always going to be the home side. But it gets a little out of control when you consider that the idea of this is competition, is excellent competition. It's a kind of thing you want to see the greatest perform, no matter whether they're from Europe, China, United States, Canada, makes no difference. You want to see the best perform at their game, especially when it comes down to golf, which is such a cranial type of game. It is so thoughtful. But when it comes to Rory McIlroy, and as the announcer said, character building, sometimes your character goes off the rails.
That bunker's looking tasty.
Guys, shut the fuck up.
If we're going to put this in really simple terms here, Rory McIlroy was exactly right when he turned to the crowd and said, "Shut the fuck up!" Because in golf, that's the kind of thing that you do in competition. You silence, you let them sit. And I've already heard of a number of people out there, and some great friends of mine, who have come out and said, well, wait a minute, wouldn't the game be a whole lot more interesting if the fans were allowed to scream and allowed to shout? Screaming and shouting is one thing, but went on at the Ryder Cup, though. That was insulting. Now, look, I could sit here and go off for minutes and minutes and minutes on end about what raging assholes American fans are, about how they really made Americans look like complete morons and idiots, and how we have a drunken band of louts out there who have nothing better to do than go ahead and get drunk and yell insults, epithets, a good FU bomb here and there at somebody else, and how that doesn't really reflect well on all Americans, and certainly it doesn't reflect well on the entire gallery that's there. But in this case, it did. And I'm not going to go off and use all that, because we've really already done that over and over and over again. But the point here is, Americans are arrogant. Americans are entitled. We have been brought to the brink where we are always believing that we are the best. Look, there's a television commercial out there right now. And again, this is what happens when it's really bad marketing and bad commercials. I don't know what the spot is for. I think it's for a car where it says, the great things about Americans is we are always Americans. Snarl, ganache, ganache, all that other good stuff, you know. Go ahead, knock it off. It's who we have become. We live that arrogance. We live that entitlement. And we do it especially in sports because, look, let's face it, we are the best there is at certain sports. We're certainly the best at American football. We suck at soccer, save for women's soccer, which is still one of the best in the world. We're the best in baseball, unless, of course, the Japanese try to put together a couple of good teams with some great players because they may knock us off our perch, because the Asian players are excellent. We're the best at basketball, though every now and then in international competition we do get our asses kicked. And we're certainly not the best in hockey yet, because when the World Championships come around, usually it's Canada. Oh, wait a minute, we're the best in motorsports. We're the best in NASCAR racing. Why? Because nobody else does it. We're certainly not the best in Formula One. But my point is, we can be fans and not be assholes. We really can. What happened at the Ryder Cup was unnecessary. It's a stain on the game of golf. And no, I don't want players who are out there or fans who are out there in the stands screaming and hollering. No! That's what makes golf beautiful. And I'm not a golfer. I have to be honest with you. I absolutely suck at golf. I have never played one decent round of golf in my life. I have every single time I've gotten out on the golf course, I'm the guy that's just making the turn at 9 going, 2 more beers, please. because that's how bad it is. I'm usually just out there whacking away, trying to have some fun. That's really all golf is to me. But when I watch golf, and I do it occasionally, I want there to be that silence. I want there to be that magic. I want there to be that absolute moment when everything stops and it's nothing. And you see the best in the world do what they do, instead of having to put up with the jerks, the morons, the idiots, the nickel and dime ass clowns. I want to see them enjoy it. And America, we got to stop being this. We're not all arrogant jerks. We're not all entitled idiots. There's some people out there who actually enjoy sports for what it is. But when it comes down to golf and international competition, hey, I'll tell you what, the announcers have had it right sometimes. Rory McIlroy had it right. How about rooting for your team? How about rooting for the Americans? How about spending more time rooting them on instead of denigrating the Europeans, who, by the way, save for that last day, kicked your ass up and down the course, rather, and they escaped at the end, but they still played better. They're champions. Salute them. Give them a nice round of applause. And as a matter of fact, when it comes to looking back on this Ryder Cup, Rory McIlroy, the guy you got pissed off about, the guy that you pissed on, the guy that you made all sorts of insults to, the guy that somebody threw something at his wife, threw a drink at his wife after the match was over. Hey, guess what? You really got somebody angry who knows how to put you in your place.
How do you pick and choose when to interact? Yesterday on 16 in the afternoon, I heard some guy who was like, Roy, you're not that good. And you said, I'm really effing good. So
I am.
I know you are.
Really good.
I know. But when do you pick and choose when to interact with the fans? Obviously, there's playful banter.
Honestly, I'd say it's just on impulse. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'm quite an impulsive character, if you haven't noticed. And sometimes I'll engage, and sometimes I'll catch myself and refrain. But I don't really choose when, and it's sort of sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
How sustainable for the game of golf is the level of abuse that you and others I know but received this weekend? I mean, is it something that you just have to accept, or is it something that's taking the game in a dangerous direction?
No, I don't think we should ever accept that in golf. I think golf should be held to a higher standard than what was seen out there this week. Golf has the ability to unite people. Golf teaches you very good life lessons. It teaches you etiquette. It teaches you how to play by the rules. It teaches you how to respect people. And sometimes this week we didn't see that. So no, this should not be what is acceptable in the Ryder Cup. But we will be making sure to say to our fans in Ireland in 2027 that what happened here this week is not acceptable. And it's for me, it's come and support your home team. Come and support your team. I think if I was an American, I would be annoyed that I didn't hear a lot of shouts for Scotty today, but I heard a lot of shouts against me. And it's like, support your players.
There it is. Rory McIlroy said it exactly right. When you go to an event like the Ryder Cup, support your team. I mean, it was a European and an American side that was there, but mostly Americans. Why don't you support the Americans? Instead, you just want to go ahead and take advantage of the $27 beers and the bottomless cup drinks and cocktails and go ahead and make assholes of yourself. I mean, you did. Because look, while it still comes down to it's just a small portion of people who really become the idiots, they are the ones that get the most attention, and they're the ones then that basically spread it out around everybody else. Stop being an asshole. You don't have to be. You can cheer against somebody, you can root against somebody, you can do certain things, but don't drop yourself to the level of being nothing more than just a jerk. It's what America's known for. That's the problem. We are known as being the home of jerks. We are known as being the home of the arrogant. And yeah, I get it. There's a lot of people out there that are going to say, wait a minute, Ed, have you ever seen a soccer match in Europe? You're right. You're right. But Why can't we be better? Why can't we just enjoy the sport for what it is? Why can't we have a grand time just reveling in the amazing accomplishments of these athletes? You know why? Because most of these jerks that are drunk out there on any given day, whether it's a football game, basketball game, baseball game, hockey game, NASCAR motorsports race, tennis event, golf event, makes no difference. They go out there, they drink themselves stupid, and then they become intoxicated morons. And then they go ahead and let it out. And that's probably what happened when the drink got thrown at Rory McIlroy's wife. People just get stupid. Why do we need to be the stupid ones? We don't. We can stop being the stupid ones, America. Join me, please. Let's just have a good time at these events. Let's just enjoy them for what they are. You don't pay your money. This is another thing, too. If you're a fan, paying your money for your ticket does not entitle you to basically insult somebody. It doesn't entitle you to throw things at people. It doesn't entitle you to say, fuck you, which is what they were doing all the time at the Ryder Cup over and over again to McIlroy. You don't get that right. You don't. You're there to enjoy it. You're there to spectate. You're not there part of the show. And therein lies a bigger part of the problem. We are now a society that believes we're the part of the show. Hey, it's a great golf match. Guess what? Let's go on out, get drunk, yell somebody, and maybe we'll get hurt. That's what happened about 1 million years ago in golf, when there was somebody who, I don't know who the first person was, who when it was dead silent. And I remember being at numerous events like this. Dead silent. The putt could be for the win, could be for a championship, could be for a green jacket. And the minute the golfer strikes it, get in the hole! Get in the hole! And everybody's in there. Oh, you know why? You just want to be part of the show. Stop trying to be a part of the show. You're not. You're a spectator. You're a fan. You're there to enjoy it. You're there to pay your money. You're there to have your beer. You're there to have your hot dog, whatever it is. But otherwise, stop being the ugly American, which is basically what we are when it comes to sports. And we don't have to be that. But we like it. That's even more distressing. We like being the ugly American. You don't have to be. You can actually enjoy sports without being a fracking moron. I know that's stunning, but it can happen. The unfortunate thing is, even when somebody tries to bring some perspective to what has gone on, it gets denigrated. Tom Watson, for instance, went on X and said, I'd like to congratulate Ryder Cup Europe on their victory. Your team play the first few days was sensational. More importantly, I'd like to apologize for the rude and mean-spirited behavior from our American crowd at Bethpage. As a former player, captain, and as an American, I am ashamed of what happened. The reaction was good in many instances from some people. Here's one guy. What a classy remark, sir. Thank you for using your platform to say what desperately needed to be said. Another one. What a classy remark, sir. Thank you for using it. There you go. And then there's great to be calling the behavior out. It was sad to see and hear the abuse that went on. All fine and well that Tom Watson decided he needed to take a stand and he needed to say something. But then again, this is social media. The ugly Americans pop themselves up here as well. How about the ones who said, funny, I didn't see you there, Tom. Rory reacted poorly as well. It's us against the world, Tom. The U.S. was hated long before you hung up your clubs. Time to get back some of the hate. Speak for yourself, Tom. Plus, isn't it time for you to go out to pasture? Times have changed and your eliteness is completely out of touch. Wrong. Wrong. Eliteness is not out of touch. It is sportsmanship. Shocking. Where did that word ever go? I know it's really, when you say sportsmanship to people, there's a lot of people who will just laugh at you because they say, come on, there's no sportsmanship anymore. There could be if we practice it. And I'm not being Pollyanna-ish about this. I'm just saying that what I want to see when I go to an event, I want to see the great scorer. I want to see the great shooter. I want to see the great receiver and the running back and the defensive play. And I want to see the great golf shot. I want to see all this. Hey, it's different in NASCAR because the drivers can't hear you anyway. And when you're in an arena, it's entirely different too because there's cheers, there's boos, there's all these things, but it doesn't have to get nasty and it doesn't have to get personal. And on a golf course especially, it doesn't have to get personal because you can hear everybody 3 holes away. It's unnecessary. Stop being the ugly American. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. By the way, before we move on, I do want to point out that the PGA of America takes a tremendous amount of responsibility for what happened at the Ryder Cup, because on the Saturday, they brought in a host off the first tee. And the host was an alleged comedian. Well, here, I'll let you, let's learn all about the alleged comedian who was there on Saturday.
If you are a single gal, I want you to dial in. If you live in the tri-state area and you can get tickets and get on the LIRR and get your ass out to Bethpage, that is where you're going to meet some men's. And if you don't want the American men's, there's going to be plenty of rich European zaddies out there rooting for Rory McIlroy, so you better get your twats out there. I have said this. If you can't meet a good man in a Sky Club on a Friday, meet him out at a golf course. Meet him out at a golf course, especially one where it's going to be high stakes. And Ryder Cup is different than like going to the Masters or going to some of these other tournaments because those are more buttoned up. The Ryder Cup gets wild. Dude, by noon, you got a bunch of bros from Germany dressed in the yellow and blue that the Team Europe wears, and they are chugging beers, wolfing down hot dogs. Everyone gets rowdy. It's a real fun event because there's so much crowd interaction. It's not stuffy. It's high stakes, but everybody is letting their hair down, eating brats, getting real, brah. But if you are a single gal, get your ass out there.
So remember, ladies, get your ass out there. Go ahead and get a drunken, hot dog-eating European or an American. Go out there and let them spend all kinds of money on you. Let them buy you overpriced drinks. Go out there and just try to be as sexual as you possibly can. Yeah, I know it's comedy, but it's bad comedy. Because this is the woman that the PGA of America put into their Saturday hosting role. And she was out there while Rory McIlroy was up on the first tee. And she is there, the host, hired and working for the PGA of America, who's there on the stand as the crowd is cheering. She's leading the chants of, "Fuck you, Rory." That's, I guess, what she considers her job. So the PGA of America is not completely blameless in all of this. They helped to egg it on. They helped make this a sideshow. They helped to make this right from the very first tee. The PGA of America is hiring somebody whose only job there is to tell really bad jokes, really sexist jokes, not give a damn if the women are out there just basically whoring themselves in front of guys from Europe and from America. Go ahead, ladies. Got to get those twats out there. But in the meantime, she's out there leading a four-letter chant against one of the other players. PGA of America, you are just as much to blame as anybody else for making this a sideshow. Maybe next time you won't do it. Maybe next time you'll learn your lesson. Maybe next time we won't have a band of idiots out there basically getting drunk. And that's another thing, too. You're never going to stop the drinking at these events because, let's face it, that's what they go out there for. They go out there to drink and be stupid. Again, my point is, you don't have to be stupid about it. It's just a game. It's just a sport. Enjoy it and don't be an asshole. Seems simple enough to me. Moving on. College football. We've been talking about this the last couple of weeks. And last week, we talked a lot about what is going on at Arkansas. Well, how nice. The spit hit the fan.
We've got breaking news out of college football where the Sam Pittman era in Fayetteville has come to an end. Arkansas fired Pittman today after a 2-3 start to the season, including Saturday's 56-13 blowout loss to Notre Dame. The 43-point defeat was the second largest of the Pittman era at Arkansas. He finishes his tenure with the Razorbacks with a 32-34 record in 5.5 seasons in Fayetteville. Offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino, who was once the head coach of the Razorbacks himself, will take over as interim for the remainder of the season.
Right. They didn't have to go far to find their next head coach. Well, you can go ahead and say that it's an interim coach, but hey, let's welcome back this classy, well-heeled winner that is Bobby Petrino.
What would you consider traits that represent a good head coach? How about compulsive and pathological liar? no morals, exploiting employees, zero self-improvement over time, incredibly self-entitled, and when faced with adversity, run.
He's a quitter. I mean, this guy just seems like a total liar and a fraud.
Well, I think he's a creep for making the move now. I think he's a quitter. And it's a sleaze bag thing.
Petrino's a fraud. Bobby Petrino is a quitter.
This guy, I mean, what kind of a message are we sending? When the going gets tough, we quit.
Quitter, liar, oh yeah, sleazebag. Bobby Petrino embodies all these things, but hey, it's okay. Don't worry about a thing. I mean, come on. He's Bobby Petrino. He's been at Arkansas once before. He was on staff as one of the assistant coaches right now. This is a guy who helps us win. Bobby Petrino, he's a winner.
Maybe you haven't bought into him being that bad. Sure, leaving multiple times is a sign of no loyalty, and he's a proven liar. But hey, he's still a good college football coach. And he's a family man. He has 4 kids and is apparently happily married.
Good evening, Craig. We're live here in Fayetteville, and here's what we know. Arkansas football coach Bobby Petrino was involved in a motorcycle accident last night around 6:45 on Arkansas 16 in Madison County near Crosses.
After a motorcycle accident, Petrino was all messed up. He had lost control and landed in a ditch. Luckily, no other vehicles or people were involved. Apparently, he had spent the day at the lake with his wife. Then he had decided to go for a good old night ride by himself.
Coach, you said you were alone on the bike, right? Were you alone?
As this YouTube comment puts it, you want to know how Bobby Petrino's lying? If his lips are moving. He wasn't the only one on the bike that day. He had a passenger, 25-year-old Jessica Durrell, a former Arkansas volleyball player who Bobby Petrino hired as a well underqualified student-athlete development coordinator, aka his mistress. It started with a kiss a year previous, and slowly progressed from there. It went on with extensive gift giving from Petrino, including 20 grand for Christmas. Some of this money was going to help pay for a car, wedding expenses, and a vacation. Wait, wedding expenses? Oh yeah, by the way, the girl was engaged at the time. Yeah, so Arkansas was going to fire Petrino. And when he got wind of this, he made it clear who he was, because rules don't apply to you when you're a big-time college football coach. So now he was gone.
When it comes to Bobby Petrino, hey, people at Arkansas, what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, seriously, I'm going to take a time here right now to go ahead and go off on you because you deserve it. What are you doing? I mean, not only is this guy a liar, a fraud, a cheat, basically, I still think that sleazebag works pretty good, although scumbag might actually work fairly well for Petrino as well. You bring this guy back under Pittman as an assistant coach, everything's nice and hunky-dory. What's he been to 17 places since the time he left and the time he's back? And every single place Bobby Petrino has been, he has lied to get his way out. I mean, he basically lied to the Atlanta Falcons. He lied to every college that he was ever with to basically get out and go someplace else for more money. The guy moves from place to place to place because he's got happy feet, and he continues to make all kinds of money on buyouts. The guy wins, but at what cost? Arkansas, listen to me, okay? Come close, my friends. Let's discuss for a few minutes. First of all, Arkansas, you are never going to win the national championship. Okay? It's not going to happen. Not in this lifetime, because you simply haven't got the money to spend. Now, again, the athletic director says that, well, we do have the money to spend, and we are going to make ourselves better eventually.
They've got to be able to embrace and adapt to what is a changing environment in college athletics, and to be able to have some advanced scouting that's really in depth, and you can go head first into the transfer portal, and that's the way you're going to build a program quickly. And the days of bringing in 25 or 30 freshmen and thinking that you can turn a program with freshmen, they're going to go by the wayside, especially in football. And you've got to be able to really use that transfer portal, and that takes some in-depth, advanced scouting across Division II, FCS, G6, and even Power 4, so that when that transfer portal opens up, you're ready to hit the ground running, and we're going to provide that staff with the resources they need to do so.
Hunter Yurachek sits there with a straight face, with Bobby Petrino sitting just to his right, and talks about the traits of a new coach, yet at the same breath, while you're talking about all these wonderful things, which are coaches that know how to work the transfer portal, know how to do things in the year 2025, in the 21st century. You're looking across here at Bobby Petrino, who is one of the biggest scumbags that ever walked the face of the earth in college football. And you're letting him back into your program. A guy who basically got in a motorcycle accident while he was at your school running your football program with a 25-year-old on the back in an accident. Oh, and he was giving her $20,000 for Christmas and a whole lot more for her wedding expenses. What is wrong? I rail against this because this is the problem that still exists in college football more than anything else. It's pretty close in college basketball. Pretty close. But it's this, we're going to win at any cost. We don't care about the moral issues that are involved. We don't care. Hey, Arkansas, I guess if you really want to be successful, you have decided that we're going to hire somebody who breaks the rules, lies, isn't a moral man to begin with. And oh yeah, everybody down in that old Bible Belt in the South talks about how we need more morality from our coaches. And you got a guy here who lies at the drop of a baseball cap. Yet you're willing to bring him back in because you're so desperate to win. You want victories. That's all you want. You don't care about the program. You want victories to make you feel good. That's what it's all about. And it's not just Arkansas. This is every place. Every single college football factory hires coaches and now hires players and now pays players and coaches because they want to win and feel good about themselves. Oh, screw this whole rah-rah, sis-boom-bah alma mater. You don't give a damn. Because if you did give a damn, if the team went out, busted their ass, and won 7 or 8 games and didn't win a conference championship, didn't win a national championship, you'd be proud of them. You'd be saying, hey, those are our guys, man. That's my school. But you're not. You want your 8 wins, 9 wins, 10, 11, 12, 13, conference championship, national championship. You want your bets to pay off, don't you? And if all that happens, hey, successful season. Arkansas, you're just as bad as everybody else now. Because you're never going to win a national championship, certainly not with Bobby Petrino there. And the other thing is, when it comes down to money, we've talked about this before. Why does anybody want to come to Arkansas? Is it because they like the scenery? Is it because they like the cuisine? No, they're not coming because they can't win there. Maybe someday you'll get good enough. Maybe someday the other teams will falter in the conference. And maybe you'll have a chance. But in the meantime, you're willing to bring in one of the most skullduggerous individuals that has ever crossed the paths of college football in the last 30 years to come in here and coach the team because you want a winner. It's not all about winning. Holy shit, did he just say that? Yeah, I did. I did. Because not everybody can win every year. Not everybody can contend for a conference championship. Not everybody can win the rivalry game. Not everybody can win a national championship or even sniff a national championship. And that's another story for another day about the haves and the have-nots. But if you're going to win, don't you want to win with some class? Don't you want to win with some respect? Don't you want to bring somebody in who actually isn't a fraud, a liar, a cheat, a coward, a scumbag, a sleazeball, whatever you want to call him? Hey, Bobby Petrino's earned it all. Just look at his record. Hopefully now, Arkansas will not allow Bobby Petrino to be the coach. He's the interim coach right now because he's been on staff. Hopefully they'll hire somebody else and they'll fire this guy, although Petrino is already setting the stage for him to stay. He wants to stay because he knows how badly you want to win. And Bobby Petrino's a winner. He can make one. Maybe not what he used to because everything has changed now. But he knows as long as he wins, you will forgive him all of his sins. You know, it's funny. When a college athlete has a problem, when he or she has an issue, when he or she is caught with a controlled substance, when he or she takes money from a booster, we're all down on him right away. Pound away. Bad people. Yeah, when you bring a guy like Bobby Petrino in, hey, don't worry about it. He's the coach. He's going to help us win. Come on, people, grow up. Grow up. Get rid of the Bobby Petrinos of the world. Support your team for what they do. Support your team for what they can do. And when they win, be happy. When they don't win, you look to next year. That's what sports is all about. And I know some of you are going, we want to win right now. There's nothing more important than the Southeastern Conference Championship and the National Championship. You need help. You need a lot more help than we can give you here. And I'm not going to pay for the psychiatrist or the psychologist. But you better go out and get some help, right? You better go out and get some help soon. Because there's no doubt you need it, one way or the other. Moving on. Our main story tonight is about the National Football League, but not about the games. Yes, granted, the Miami Dolphins finally won a game. The New York Jets are awful. The Cincinnati Bengals are in big trouble. The Dallas Cowboys still are not a very good team. The Cleveland Browns are still just wandering around in the firmament. There's a whole lot of issues going on in the NFL we could talk about. But this is the single most important issue that has gripped the National Football League right now.
Bad Bunny is the Super Bowl 60 halftime performer. The Puerto Rican superstar reveals in a social media teaser that he will take the stage on February 8th for the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, California.
Se acostó temprano, mañana hay que estudiar. Pero llamó a la amiga diciendo pa' janguear.
It comes amid a busy year for the star who just wrapped up his 3-month 30-show residency in San Juan, Puerto Rico. He's also fresh off movie roles in Caught Stealing and Happy Gilmore 2. The Moscow Mule singer is also hosting the SNL season debut on October 4th. Bad Bunny's turn on the world's biggest stage will come 1 year after Kendrick Lamar became the first rapper to headline the Super Bowl as a solo act. Prior to Kendrick, Usher became the most watched halftime show of all time, and in 2023, Rihanna announced her pregnancy during her Super Bowl spectacle. Now the countdown is on for Bad Bunny's big moment.
That's right. Bad Bunny is going to be the halftime entertainment at the Super Bowl, and minds explode. There has been nothing more entertaining, absolutely nothing, than watching very closely as the right wing implodes.
Conservatives Benny Johnson and Robbie Starbuck are blasting the NFL for choosing Puerto Rican artist Bad Bunny to headline the 2026 Super Bowl.
Now, the Super Bowl will take place at Levi's Stadium in San Francisco. Bad Bunny said in a statement, quote, "What I'm feeling goes beyond myself. It's for those who came before me and ran countless yards so I could come in and score a touchdown. This is for my people, my culture, and our history."
Some conservatives are not happy about this announcement. Starbuck posted on X, Roger Goodell and the NFL just decided to make the Super Bowl political by picking Bad Bunny as the 2026 Super Bowl music act. The guy literally says he isn't touring the U.S. because of Trump's ICE raids. Just released a video mocking President Trump. Also, most of his songs aren't even in English. This is not a pick designed to unite football fans or let people just enjoy the show. It was a pick designed to divide fans, and no doubt Bad Bunny will find some way to push a woke message. Benny Johnson also weighed in, writing, "The NFL self-destructing year after year. Democrats, of course, took the opportunity to make fun of MAGA. Gavin Newsom's press account responded to Johnson on X, writing, Benny, calm down. We all know you listen to Bad Bunny, LOL."
I got to tell you, I like Gavin Newsom. And I'm not a Democrat. Doesn't even mean I'm going to vote for the guy. But I like him because he fires right back. This is just insanity, but it happens every year. We all know now that there is nothing more entertaining than watching every year when the Super Bowl announces whom their halftime entertainment is going to be. This is halftime. This isn't the game itself. This is one 16 to 18 minute slot in world history that people get all upset about. As a matter of fact, it blows my mind. Some of the absolute clowns that just get all bent out of shape about this.
So you heard about this guy, Da Bunny? Is that his name? Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny. He's the Super Bowl attraction. He's going to play the Super Bowl halftime show. I remember in the 1990s, they once had a great big 50th anniversary of Snoopy and Charlie Brown. Snoopy and Charlie Brown. Now we have Da Bunny, who hates America, hates President Trump, hates ICE, hates the English language. He's just a terrible person. Let's see here. There was the issue of, like, effing ICE could be outside my concert. Oh, yeah, he was canceling concerts because of And it's something that we were talking about and very concerned about. Well, anyway, I'm very concerned about this guy showing up at the Super Bowl. It's yet another reason to not watch football. It stinks. Roger Goodell and all those criminals, they can have their money. Boycott it. Read a book. Go to church. I'm serious. NFL, no freaking life. No. I'll get back to you on the L. Be right back.
Isn't that fun? It is so entertaining to watch morons like Greg Kelly on Newsmax. Newsmax, the platform that basically lies every single day, and it's been proven thanks to Smartmatic and Dominion systems. In case you're wondering, go ahead and check. But it's just so entertaining to watch these people. What's so upsetting? I love it when he says, when people go off and say, we're very concerned about Bad Bunny hosting the halftime show. Why? What are you afraid of? What's so bad? Look, I'm going to be honest with you. I couldn't name one Bad Bunny song. I can't tell you I've got one. And I have an iPod. I'm old school. I have an iPod. I've got it with absolute months of music. And I love all kinds of music. I basically sample everything. Now, I'm not a rap fan. I'm not a hip-hop fan. Some of it, though, I'll even go with. Okay, Bad Bunny? I mean, I've heard his music before, and again, part of it is, it's not my generation. I get that. It's okay. And I also get the fact that I only speak broken Spanish. And not everybody speaks Spanish. And the fact that his songs are in Spanish kind of turned me off. But they're melodious, they're entertaining, they're fun once I get to know exactly what's being said. But there's nothing wrong with it. And not only that, here's the next thing that these clowns are missing. Bad Bunny is an American. Think about that. He's an American citizen. He's from Puerto Rico, technically the 51st state. So when everybody is going, and I've heard this before, how the NFL is inviting a foreigner to come in here. He's not a foreigner. He's American. And you people are going after him just because he's that. But it's this woke bullshit in this country right now that everybody is hanging on to. Just because he's Spanish, just because he's from Puerto Rico, just because he doesn't do your kind of music doesn't mean there's anything to be concerned about. Yeah, I get it. There are people in San Francisco, and a lot of rock and rollers I know, who are very upset that they didn't come up with a rock and roll, or somebody even said, how about celebrating San Francisco's history of rock and roll with certain performers? What, certain performers that are 937 years of age? Come on, guys, get with it. I would love to see U2, Bruce Springsteen. I'd love to see the heroes of my generation. But it's over. It's past. It's time for a new generation. It's time for new music. It's time for new entertainment. The National Football League isn't here about woke. They don't give a shit about woke. It's the money. They bring Bad Bunny in because right now he is one of the highest grossing, clickbaitable, followed performers in the world. He is going to make them a fortune. There's going to be so many people. As a matter of fact, this Super Bowl halftime show might turn out to be the single most watched halftime show ever. And the other thing is, you love hearing these stories about the people who go, I'm never going to watch the National Football League again. It's the same people who said that when Colin Kaepernick and other players kneeled for the national anthem. I'm never going to watch football again. They're right back there watching the game. They never went away. Never. And it's always the ones who go, I'm going to boycott the Super Bowl. No, you're not. Super Bowl is still going to get excellent ratings. I'm not going to watch the game. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go to the toilet and I'm going to flush my toilet during the halftime show. So does a lot of America and the rest of the world. Who cares? What's the deal? What's the worry? That's what I want. I want to know from every single person seeing this. I don't care if you're white, black, blue, green, male, female, any other type of iteration. I don't care. But if you don't like this, why? What are you so afraid of? It's only music. It's good music. I don't understand it, but it's okay. It's not for me. It's okay. Am I going to walk away during the halftime? No, I'm going to sit there and watch it. You know why? I want to see the show. Because the Super Bowl halftime show is just that. It is a show. And we don't know. Maybe there's going to be like a 2-minute break where they'll bring in some rock and rollers. And on that point, too, rock and roll is pretty much dead in this country right now when it comes to really being a major musical force. You have alternative rock, you have country music rock, you have hip-hop, you have rap, you have all these different iterations right now, all these different variations of music. The people who say they want rock and roll at the Super Bowl Hall of Fame, who? That's all. Okay, here's the question. Who, and who would not be over 97 years of age? There's nothing to be concerned about here, yet watching you people get all outraged about it is one of the most entertaining things of the year, and it happens every single year. It happens all the time. If it's not Bad Bunny, it's a female act, and we don't need a female act. If it's not Bad Bunny, it's a rap act, and we don't need rap. America doesn't need rap. It's all part of being woke. Oh, stop. Cut the bullshit, will you? Stop being so afraid of music. Enjoy it. It's a show. Why can you not just sit back? And that's my question again I'm going to ask. I guarantee you I won't hear from the naysayers because they don't want to get involved. They don't want to get caught. There's a racist pick to this because you don't like Bad Bunny because he's Hispanic. You don't like him because he's from Puerto Rico, which again is the 51st state in America pretty much and should be the 51st state. He loves this country. And yeah, I hear these people go, well, he's spoken out against President Trump. Yes, he has. And so have a lot of people, a lot of very honorable people as well. And the big thing why Bad Bunny canceled his tour in the United States was he knew flat out that every time he brought somebody in, the ICE agents were going to be there looking for somebody that they could deport. He didn't want to put his friends, his staff, his crew at risk. So he said, no, I'm not coming. It had nothing to do with the music. It had to do with this threat of illegal deportation. So yeah, the guy cares about his crew. And the guy's making absolute sure that everybody is going to be okay. Yet you want him to kowtow to what you believe in. Doesn't happen. Doesn't happen anymore. Why are you so afraid? I had to bring up some of this too because social media and its blasting of this has become kind of hysterical. This is, and I put the gentleman's name in there, Ryan Fournier, who posted a picture of Bad Bunny and said, this is Bad Bunny. The NFL just announced him at the 2026 Super Bowl halftime performer. And I should point out that in this picture, for those of you watching on YouTube, what you can't see is, and what you don't see is Bad Bunny dressed in a skirt. And that has Ryan and so many other people all upset that this is a guy in a skirt. He's a massive Trump hater. He's an anti-ICE activist, doesn't even sing in English, once canceled his tour. It's the same thing I just brought up. That's the same absolute bullshit that I just talked about. Everybody is saying the same thing. Those people who don't want Bad Bunny are MAGA supporters. He hates Trump. He hates America. No, he doesn't. He's never said anything against America in his life. Not once. Go ahead and find it. I dare you. He sings in Spanish. Okay. And there have been Spanish songs before that people in America have sung simply because you like the lyric. And he doesn't want his guys to get arrested or anybody connected with his crew to get arrested because of an illegal deportation. I applaud him on that. Good for him. But of course we have people like this guy, Moyo Reyes. All the profile pictures with sunglasses, beard, and trucker hats. I'm turning off the TV during the Hall of Fame, during the halftime show. This is America. It should be in English. I don't even know who he is. He's right. That's the kind of stuff that we hear back and forth. Here's another one. Cue the people saying they never heard of him and reminiscing about the good old days of Super Bowl halftime shows. Not all the Super Bowl halftime shows were good, kids. Some of them actually were pretty freaking bad. But if you're a guy like Greg Kelly, you want to see us go back to maybe having Up With People at the halftime show and maybe a good marching band every now and then. Or this one. Last Super Bowl was too Afrocentric. This one, the complaints will be, we don't understand the words. MAGA gonna fake boycott the NFL over this. Exactly. That's what's going to happen. This is showtime. This is an entertainment factor to all this. Anybody speaking out about this, you're just afraid. You're scared. You're a coward. He's going to sing in Spanish. Okay. He's from Puerto Rico. Good for him. But mostly it's these entitled, white, asshole, tight maggots who simply can't stay off the fact that he's not what we want. No, he's not. He is what the NFL wants, and he is what people want. There are people out there right now who go on vacations just to go to one of his shows. And as a matter of fact, his shows are pretty saccharine. I mean, a lot of dancing, a lot of music. There's no fights at them, not that we've seen at least. So there's no reason to be afraid of Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny will perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. Life will be fine. Everybody will be good. There will be no instances of rioting, except by those people who maybe want to protest it. And if you want to, go right ahead. I, for one, am going to watch the show. I mean, when Bad Bunny comes, and by the way, I didn't even recognize Bad Bunny when he was in the HBO series Stick. Didn't even recognize him. But he did a good job as an actor. And he's also acting as well, and he's getting great reviews. He's a talented guy. And all he wants to do is sing and make Puerto Rico look good. Okay. I was in Puerto Rico recently. Nice place. Not any place I would go on a regular basis. But then again, I'm more of a snow worshiper than I am a sun guy. But it's okay. It's a pretty place with wonderful people. And they're American. Americans. So please, let's move on. Let's all enjoy Bad Bunny. You know, of course, that from now until February, this is going to be argued back and forth. But thankfully, you can turn the switch off on the people who complain that Bad Bunny hates America when he doesn't. The people who say Bad Bunny hates America, they're the ones that hate America. Really. They hate the Constitution. They hate the freedom of speech. They hate the fact that there are people out there who don't like everything that they like. They're scared. They're afraid they're going to be sucked into all this and they're going to disappear. You're not going to disappear. Well, maybe you should. Maybe you should disappear. It'd be better off for everybody if you did. Because then we wouldn't have to put up with this bullshit every single year when it comes around and they don't put somebody in you want. And by the way, the rock and rollers of tomorrow, they're all getting kind of old these days. You know, they're not. It's just like going to see a nostalgia show. Let me see somebody new. And I'll tell you what, if Taylor Swift does the show, I'm there. Good for her. And good for Bad Bunny. Now all I have to do is learn my Spanish all over again. I was good in Spanish in high school. And I know a smattering of Spanish. But I got to go back and learn more now. Why not? Be a little worldly. Of course, don't ask the Bad Bunny haters to learn their Spanish. Ooh, that would be bad. Moving on. Finally, today we have another story in the National Football League, and it just, well, it's not. It's in sports, of course, but it's in a different light. I wanted to do more on the National Football League, but I couldn't. So I went here. We are on the verge of next year creating one of the most insulting sporting events and sporting locations in the history of this country.
UFC is planning a massive event at the White House on July 4th, 2026, to mark America's 250th birthday. And tonight, UFC CEO Dana White shared renderings of the event during a Fox News interview with Bret Baier.
It's going to be under 5,000 people. It depends on how much the lawn can hold. As far as weight, the octagon itself weighs 15,000 pounds. So we don't know. We're still working it out. And my vision for this thing is we have this big arch, as you can see, with the lighting grid, because what I want is the White House on the back. And then when you shoot, when the fight goes around to the other side, you'll see the Washington Monument. At first he put Ivanka in charge of handling this thing and putting it together. And when we sent the plans over to Ivanka, she said, "Dana, you do not mess around."
I'll say. Dana White says the event will seat under 5,000 people near the octagon. But another area nearby could hold up to 85,000 fans.
We can fit 85,000 people over there. We're going to have a stage where music, we'll have bands playing all day, and then people will be able to bring blankets and, lay around and watch the fights. We'll have screens up everywhere for everybody. We're literally going to take over Washington, D.C. that week. We're going to do the weigh-ins there. We're going to have fan events.
At the Lincoln Memorial.
That's what we're talking about, yeah.
Look, let's be honest. I don't like the UFC. I don't like MMA. I don't watch any of their fights. I'm a boxing guy. I'm old school that way, and I like my boxing. I think that MMA and UFC is nothing more than human cockfighting. And as a matter of fact, if you're a boxing aficionado, you know that there's not an MMA fighter in the world, pound for pound, who could stand with a technical boxer. Boxing is a sport that needs skill, that needs finesse, that needs so much more than just bludgeoning somebody. And when you get somebody on the ground and you're pounding away, that's not a sport. That's assault. That's assault with a deadly weapon. Okay, but that's just me. I get it. Look, don't come at me full hammer and tong here, because I don't like UFC. I don't. At the same breath, this is insulting. This is turning the White House into a carnival show. This is creating an atmosphere of a circus where the American government has its seat of authority and seat of respect. This is the White House that holds the seat of government. This is Washington, D.C., that is involved in class and style and showing the world what we can do. But instead, we're going to put a big ring right in front of the White House, and we're going to have men and women beating the shit out of each other just so that Dana White and others can make a ton of money, an inordinate amount of money, and guaranteed there's going to be other people, some politicians in there as well, that are going to make a lot of money on the backside of this. This is nothing more than a scam. If you want to have the event in Washington, D.C., okay, I'm fine with that. Have it at a stadium. Have it where the Commanders play. Do something else, but don't do it in front of the White House. And a weigh-in in front of the Lincoln Memorial, one of the most sacred places that we have in America today, the place that speaks to the Constitution, speaks to Americans, speaks to the need for freedom. We're going to have that in front of the Lincoln Memorial? Are you serious? It's wrong. It's just wrong. Have the event. I'm okay with it. But it's an insult to me. It's an insult to Americans. It's an insult to our armed services. It's an insult to the people who have died for this country to know that their national monuments are going to be turned into nothing more than a shake and bake change to go ahead and try and make fighters a lot of money, make one guy a tremendous amount of money, and keep a president tied to his base. It's wrong. It shouldn't be allowed. But then again, I'm talking to the breeze here because I don't make these decisions. Neither do you. These are made by Donald Trump and Dana White and their friends. I get it. But to put this sideshow, this bloody affair on the lawn of the White House is insulting to America. And I think we should take it as a personal insult. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it. It's going to be there. The only thing that we can do about it is not watch it. I won't watch. But then again, I know that there's a lot of people out there who are dying for this. You want this to happen because you want to be able to say, I was there, or I saw it, or we were at the White House. It's the same thing as those fans at the Ryder Cup that are screaming at the Europeans. It's the ugly American. And putting a UFC match, any sort of sporting event, but specifically a fight, a bare-knuckle fight on the grounds of the White House is an appalling misuse of power. But we're not going to be able to stop it. Finally, one last time, let's go ahead and look at our clickbait issues of the week, because we now take time out to go ahead and look at those issues that we find, which basically talk to a lot of us about the clickbait that is out there in sports these days. Here's one from IndyCar, from NASCAR fans. Hendrick Motorsports star Kyle Larson sent shockwaves through the racing world when, ahead of the upcoming Cup Series event, he openly refused to run a specifically designed Pride-themed decal on his car. Larson bluntly criticized what he called a woke agenda as something he would not celebrate. There is no link to it. It is not true. It never was true. It's fake, but there's going to be people who will fall for it. Next up from the WNBA, here's Brittany Griner saying Angel Reese will make the WNBA bigger than the NFL in 5 years. She never said that. It's all fake, it's all clickbait, and it's all out there to make sure that you go ahead and click on it because people have nothing better to do than to spit this bullshit. Oh, and here's one that I do have to make a point of, seeing as we're now into baseball. Here's from Yankees Nation. And again, remember, a lot of these things aren't run by the teams. This is Red Sox manager Alex Cora threw gas on the Flames before the AL wildcard clash with the Yankees. The so-called Bronx Bombers, more like Bronx Pretenders. We don't fear the pinstripes. It's all a lie. It never happened. It's just people putting shit out there so that you'll fall for it. Simply put, don't fall for it. It's easy to check. I can check each one of those stories in 20 seconds, and I can find out what's right and what's wrong. So can you. Don't forget, go to YouTube. Check us out, The Fastest Show in Sports. Subscribe to us there. See all the different segments, the highlights, the features, the clips, everything we got. And if you're listening to us on audio podcast, share it, damn it. Subscribe and download. Go to wherever you get your podcasts from, all the major platforms, and we are there. Help us grow at The Fastest Show in Sports. Be there. Be the smarter audience every single day. For everybody here, I'm Ed Berliner. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Rock on, true believers. See ya.
Ed Berliner, the fastest show in sports.